Greetings, R. Smalek here. This is my Curator series, and this is going to be a bit of a turning point in the series. If you had been keeping up with it till now, you know that this series was a mix of survival and building. I've got my rating scale built here, my observation tower here, my map review vault down here. Somewhere off in this direction, we've got the little village that I created, and off in this direction, we've got my spawn area. Well, the main storyline of the Curator has come to a bit of a close. At least this chapter of it has. We saw this disembodied voice giving me direction and basically asking me to create all of these things that I just pointed out and place all of these orbs up in the tower, which allowed me to view different maps, map genres I should say. And then I reviewed the maps, or the worlds in the vernacular of the series, and I recorded them fairly in books, and then I put those books down in the vault, and all the while there was this sense of this disembodied voice, mysterious voice, getting a little bit more corrupted and actually warning me about the corruption in itself, getting a little more corrupted the more orbs that I placed in the tower, until finally I placed the 13th orb, which were in part, by the way, inspired by Marilyn's Rainbow from the Dark Tower series. And basically once I placed that last orb, he was able to, the prior Curator was able to fully reform his body and come back into the world and try to face me. And I beat him. Along the way, I beat the Ender Dragon, I beat 3 Elder Guardians, so on and so forth. You got to see it all happen. So I hope you enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun. One of the main sort of impeti for this series was to fill a survival void, if you will. Whoa, where's Buccaneer? Oh, I left Buccaneer up top. Oh wait, there he is. Buccaneer, you're supposed to be up here. While I was waiting for some folks to finish their builds in my vanilla challenge, my original intention for this series was actually to start airing it January 1st. And this would have been my primary January series. In terms of sort of giving you something new each, I'm going to take a couple of these, each week to watch. So the survival building parts were originally planned to occur in January. I actually got quite far ahead of where I wanted to be in the month of December, and I started airing the whole thing early. And I've really enjoyed it, I'll be honest with you. The ending of that series was supposed to culminate where it did from a storyline perspective, but from a map review perspective, instead of actually fighting the other guy, what was supposed to happen was the vault was supposed to have been shut the whole time and then opened right at the end, basically right when I placed the last orb, and the disembodied voice was going to come out of the world and basically attempt to go through into the vault, which would have become a portal, and corrupt that new world. And in order to stop that from happening, what I was supposed to do was actually jump into the vault myself, jump through the portal, and then boom, I would land in a completely vanilla new world, and I would start building my Vanilla Challenge 3 map. So the story got a bit ahead of real world because we're not quite ready to start Vanilla Challenge 3, which is perfectly fine. And so what will happen now in this world, as you know, I have the world seed in the vault if you watched the previous episode, and that world seed is going to come back into play. The story of this world will resume once we're ready to start Vanilla Challenge 3, and you'll see what happens at that point. Oops, sorry, fair lady. And so between now and then, what I'm planning to do is I'm planning to have two types of video in this series. The first type is what you're watching now. This is going to be survival let's play. It's going to be vlog. It's going to be edited so you don't have all the boring bits, but it's basically going to be just me, not role-playing, talking to you, talking to the camera, or talking to the audience, I should say, and doing some building. I have a couple ideas of things I want to build in this world. So if you just want to hear me talk without worrying about role-play story, trying to follow a complicated script, and you like watching someone play survival Minecraft, I hope you will enjoy this. The second portion of this series will be the map review. So in the videos, the Curator videos that are marked survival, you're not going to see me enter the tower up on the hill. You're not going to see me reviewing any maps, looking into any orbs. But as I play other Minecraft custom maps, I will do short map review episodes that are fully contained of just showing you the map through the eyes of the Curator and the orbs, without mixing in the survival bits so that it's not too confusing. You'll just get a tiny little bit at the beginning. Hey, you know what? I left this here thinking I would eventually need it, and I may need it now. With the survival bits taken out, and so... Shoot, did I just go off the wrong side of the jungle? I sure did. I hate when your facing really changes significantly when you get in and out of beds or horses. There we go. So what I'm going to do now... I'm going to let him be. What I'm going to do is I'm going to head over there to the Mesa biome, and I'm going to start gathering up some materials, actually some hardened clay, and then I need some cobblestone, and I will probably need some other materials. But once I get enough hardened clay and cobblestone, and then a little bit of dye, or actually quite a bit of dye, I'm going to start building something, and I'll share that with you as I build it. But I wanted to take this first few minutes of this video to just explain that this episode and other episodes that are marked survival will basically be me doing, well, just that, Minecraft survival. And so if that's something that you like to watch, which I hope you do, you can watch it. And then the map reviews will be separate. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the history of that series. Specifically two points. One, which I already started to mention actually, that the original series was intended to lead up to my Vanilla Challenge, which we're not ready for. And the other thing was to create this world in which I could review maps, and a world that I could actually make available for download. So you could download my world, and you could experience my builds, and you could experience, let's see, well, I should probably make a chest here. You could go into my vault and check out my map reviews and just have, oh wait, why did I do that? Okay, fine. Won't need that. I actually won't need these at all. Oh, I forgot these are in the vault. Whatever. This is the out of character world, so that's all fine. And I wasn't planning to build the village. I wasn't with the villagers. I didn't really think I was going to go after that Ender Dragon. I was hoping that I would go after the Ocean Monument. And I want to talk a little bit about that as well. This is going to be kind of some behind-the-scenes information. Okay, so firstly, let me tackle a topic that was commented on in that Curator series, and that's whether or not I did everything in survival or did I do anything in creative mode. So the only things that I did in creative mode, there's a couple of them, and they were purely for story purposes, not really for giving me any type of advantage. All the survival bits, gathering materials, building, enchanting, all that stuff is all what I did. Obviously, I had to actually hide the orbs in the world via MC Edit because the names on the glass blocks, the orb items, had the color codes in them. And I don't, as far as I know, you can't do that through just using an, oh, I didn't bring a bed. That's what I forgot. You can't do that using an anvil. And so therefore I had to do that and place those chests in MC Edit and then change the biome of the spot where I placed the chest to sky biome, so it had that weird sort of dark sky even during the day effect. And what I would do, I think I mentioned this in a vlog, I would basically play Minecraft in survival mode until I figured out, and I didn't know exactly where I would place those chests with the orbs, by the way. I had a rough idea, like for example, I knew I wanted one of them to be in the Mesa biome. I knew I wanted one of them to be in, or I should say in a Mesa biome. I knew I wanted one of them to be in a jungle biome. I wanted one of them to be in a mushroom island biome. I didn't really know where they would be in the world until I started playing in survival, and then I started heading out to find an orb, and then once I got close to a biome, you know, I could see a biome or an interesting space up ahead where I thought it would be a good place to put one. Then I would log out, place it in MC Edit, log back in, and then find it. And for some of the orbs, for example, the orb that's under the Mesa biome in the abandoned mine shaft, that was actually really hard to find because I didn't really, I didn't use F3, by the way, in the survival mode at all, so I didn't know my coordinates. And when I hid that particular orb, I just kind of randomly flew in, hid it inside of a, a part of the mine shaft, and then logged out and logged in, and then I found my way down to the mine shaft, and I really didn't know where in the mine shaft it was and where I entered the mine shaft or the path to get from here to there. It was all sort of random to me, if you will. And so hiding the orbs is one. Obviously placing the beacon inside the observation tower and then changing its colors was something that I did in MC Edit. Again, there's no effects on that beacon. It's a purely cosmetic thing just so that there's a beacon coming out of the top. And I did think about fighting the Wither to legitimately get a beacon and replace that one. But I'll be honest with you, I really just didn't have any desire to fight the Wither. Now that I know, now that I fought the Ender Dragon and the Guardians, and I know the power of the armor that I have on, I feel like I could actually fight a Wither. So maybe that's something that will come into the series when I resume, although I don't know. And I thought about making the Wither be the disembodied voice and the final battle, but I felt that might actually be a little bit too cheesy for the series. I didn't want to... Oh, I'm really tempted to go down there. In fact, I probably need some iron, so while it's night anyway, let's go ahead and go down there. Oh, that was short-lived. Well, it helped me to escape the skeleton at least. So yeah, I just didn't want to deal with the Wither, so I didn't. Boy, there are no mobs spawning. Am I on the correct difficulty? Yeah, I'm on normal. Why are there no mobs spawning? Why do I see no mobs whatsoever? Maybe I need to go towards another chunk? Oh, this is weird. Are the mobs on pause while the story's on pause? I didn't do that. Hello? Hello, mobs. Well, this is really spooking me out all of a sudden. Well, there are no mobs spawning anywhere. Am I lagged out of the world? There we go. I heard a skeleton. Alright, there we go. Huh. That was really strange, if you ask me. Here comes somebody. Gotcha, buddy. Okay, so I actually just lost my train of thought completely. So let's... Ooh, I don't have a water bucket, do I? And I didn't put my hard-fought clay away, just in case I do something really stupid like fall in lava and die down here. I don't think I'll do anything that stupid. We'll see, though. Okay, so just a couple other little things, I guess, while we're recording. What do you call it? Train of thought style. Playing a custom map for Minecraft called Enderbent Evolved. It's really cool. Now, this is a map that started at least in 1.6, but I believe even earlier. Possibly even like 1.4, 1.2, I'm not exactly sure. But it was definitely out in 1.6. And it's by a guy named Automator MC and Flying Z, which I have a feeling, I think that's their father and son map making team. I'm not 100% sure. I think Automator is the dad, Flying Z is probably the kid, and Automator MC has the channel. It's been around for quite a while, and that's a map that I had been urged to play in the past, and I just didn't want to play a long map, like a CTM length map. And it was upgraded to 1.8, and I do check in on it every now and then because I feel guilty that a friend of mine, Qwerty, recommended it, and I still haven't played it. But I haven't. And so I went on the forum thread to just kind of see what was what, and I saw the featured video, the featured LP, and I said, I'll give it a quick look and see what sort of changes have been put into the map. Does it, is it something that really piques my fancy at this point? And so I watched CubFan135's LP. I should say that I watched like the first 3 to 5 minutes. I don't even think I watched that long. And he starts off the map on a boat in the water. And this boat is under attack by pirates, so there's cannon fire coming in from all over the place. And the coolest thing, though, the thing that just really convinced me to play it, is that waves come crashing in over the sides of the boat as you're fighting these pirates. And it looks pretty realistic, like the most realistic waves I've seen in a Minecraft adventure map. And your boat starts sinking because it took some damage. And there's cannons, so you can fire back at the pirates, but your boat's sinking. And your boat goes down, and then you're sitting there in the water, and you're in survival mode, so you can do whatever you want. You can break and craft and all that stuff. And you now have to dive underwater and search for some supplies. And that, what I just described to you, is just the first couple minutes of CubFan's LP of that map. And it looked so awesome that it convinced me to go and finally play the map. So what I'm going to be doing on this channel, I'm going to be doing these survival videos every now and again while we wait for others to be ready with the 1.8 or probably 1.9, I'm guessing, vanilla challenge. And then basically till they're done with their 1.8. Oh, look at that. It didn't even touch the lava. 1.8 maps, because we don't want to leave them behind. And then, whoa. This is perfectly dangerous water that did not update the lava. There we go. There we go. Alright, let's just keep that contained. In case I ever want to come down here again. I don't know what... Is this the end of the cave? Oh no, there's a little something something up there. Okay, so Enderbent. So I'm playing what I'm going to be playing for a while. I think at least for the rest of January. Hopefully after January I've got something really special in store for you. And we'll talk about that later. But I think at least for the rest of January you're going to see some of these survival building videos. You will continue to see map reviews in the Curator series. But those will just be short review videos where I just observe and then record the rating and then probably the LPs of those maps too. Some of them I may not do a full LP. There's several different reasons. I can't always record while I'm playing Minecraft. Sometimes maybe I just don't have the energy to do good narration. Maybe there's too much background noise. Maybe the map just doesn't have that perfect visual quality to do a good LP. So sometimes I will just do a map review video. Sometimes I'll do a full LP and review video. So we'll see. It's going to depend map to map. So you're going to see Survival Curator, you're going to see Map Review Curator. Those will be completely separate. So those of you that don't want to have those mixed or don't want to watch both, you don't have to. It'll be clearly labeled. I am going to be doing the single-player map Enderbent Evolved, which is a lot of fun so far. Crazy amount of village to explore. I have been neglecting the dungeons because there's so much village to explore. But it's basically a map where you're supposed to go into each dungeon and collect 18 nether stars, trade for a portal block, and then go to the end. It also has a monument of banners, which is really cool. It's my favorite type of monument I've ever seen in Minecraft as far as complete the monument stuff goes. And that is apparently optional, but I'm going to complete the monument. So we've got those series going on, and then that's probably going to be a single player map. But then I do have a multiplayer map, a CTM map in progress called Meet the Mobs Again by Oipkio. And it's a fun little CTM map. I really enjoyed the first area, the starting area, and I really enjoyed the first dungeon, if you will, which was Calmio and Muliet. It's a take on Romeo and Juliet, if that wasn't obvious. And each of the area is themed after mobs. So this area is themed after a cow and a mushroom. It's basically a giant cow and a giant mushroom that you adventure around in. And, wow. So, and then the second area was based on Animal Farm, which is a book that I have never read. But it's where you get, I think it was a horse, an ocelot, and maybe one more type of head. It wasn't the pig. But anyway, as I do each of these branches, my plan is to pull different companions in. So the first person that helped me with the first area was Felonius the Wizard. We had a really nice time, and it's always great when our schedules meet up and we can play together. We've been Minecraft friends for quite a while. And then the second area, I played with Cthulhu 2, who is the person that inspired me to make a survival world to house my map reviews in, because he does something like that in his survival world, and I just thought it was the greatest idea ever. So I don't know who will join me for the third area. Right now, those are just going to come out once a week, because I do want to play that multiplayer, and generally, you know, kind of scheduling that out could take a little bit. So we have a long-running map, Enderbent Evolved in single player. We're going to have a long-running map, Meet the Mobs Again in multiplayer. Shoot, I didn't bring any of that wood down here. And then we're going to have this series. Oh, wow, what is that? That's one of those big room, Heart of the Cave rooms, I think. Okay, so I think I babbled enough for now. That kind of just gives you some idea of, you know, where things have been, where things are going with this channel. Oh, this leads back to the mine shaft, sort of, kind of, indirectly. And I am going to now offline cook up a bunch of this iron, make a bunch of picks. I'm going to try to fill that ender chest with hardened clay, fill my inventory with hardened clay, and I think that should be more than enough to build what I have in mind. I've got a couple buildings, we'll call them structures in mind, that I have thought, okay, if I ever get on a survival server, these are the buildings I will try to create. So I've got a bunch of ideas that have been on a list for a long time. That's what I'm going to start with here, or one of them anyway. And basically the theme is that I'm going to be leaving that spawn area and no longer making that sort of my go back to base, but I'm going to build a proper house for myself to live in. And then once it gets a little bit closer, we will resume this series with the vanilla challenge mixed in. I think I've now said that about 6 times in this series, so I will refrain from doing that again. And I will see you next time. I hope this was somewhat enlightening. I hope you're eager to see what I come up with next, because I think I've got some pretty cool ideas, and you won't have to be worried. You won't have to be bothered about keeping up with a storyline. It'll just be vlog and building in typical Minecraft. Yeah, I was going to build a bed. Let me just do that, and I will talk to you in the next episode. You know, actually, let me know if there are things you would kind of want to challenge me with, like, and want to see me do in this series. Please do comment, or things that you've always wanted to, or that you enjoy watching other people do and you've always wanted me to try in Minecraft. I'm totally up for requests, if you will. So please feel free to do that. This has been our Smellick. Oh, also, I guess I should mention, otherwise I'm going to mention this next thing, not for my own benefit, even though it obviously benefits me, but to respect and celebrate and thank the people who support me in my Minecraft endeavors through something called Patreon. Patreon is a service where I've got mine configured so that you can sign up and you can donate as little as $1 per month to keep the content rolling, to help me upgrade my equipment and get better, and allow me to spend more of my free time doing what you want to see me do, and sort of be my boss, direct me in what happens in my Minecraft experiences. One of the goals for this year is I really want to get a Minecraft Realms server, and I want to open it up so that my patrons can join me in a survival world or in custom maps from time to time. And I'll just have the whitelist on with all my patrons on it. I believe there is a 20-person limit, so if I ever reach 20 patrons, I'll have to figure out how to sort of, you know, allow different people to have turns joining the world. But you'll be able to come in my world and build and craft and dig when I'm there, when I'm not there, when my other friends are there who are patrons. and maybe some other map makers might join from time to time, and you can hang out with them and have some fun. So that's one of my kind of visionary goals for this year, and Patreon is going to help me with the funds to do that. So basically, the quicker I get more Patreon support, the quicker that will become a reality. Otherwise, I'll be using, the monthly contributions to continue to better my equipment. For example, one of the things I want is an arm for this microphone, so I can place it a little bit farther from the keyboard and in a more natural position for speaking, and it'll just up the audio just a tiny bit better. And then I'm kind of interested in checking out a better quiet keyboard, and eventually maybe a better webcam so that I can do live streaming with a little bit better quality webcam and some other things like that. So thank you to those patrons who stuck with me in 2014, and I definitely look forward to giving you guys something interesting to watch in 2014, and in fact that includes exclusive content that is available only to patrons. Sneak peeks, behind the scenes, random funny stuff, outtakes, bloopers. I've given early access to series to that a week or two in advance to patrons. For example, the Minecraft Map History series. I have made a couple of those episodes available to patrons before they were available to the public. So if you're interested in kind of being in that group, again, it's as little as $1 a month. I believe you can sign up for even as little as like a penny a month. And that would allow you to just say, hey, I'm out here. And I don't even know if you would honestly get charged a penny, but it would just be a way to get your name on the list for future projects, secret projects. So, okay, I did not mean to babble that long about Patreon. It is still, in my mind, in the experimental phase, but nonetheless, content on this channel will continue. I look forward to the rest of this series. I have some really cool things in mind. I hope you will enjoy them. And if not, I hope you will watch all my map reviews and LPs, if that's what you're here for. Those will continue as well. See you soon. Oh gosh, I totally forgot to mention another series that's in progress. My downgrade challenge, in which each episode I downgrade a Minecraft version. So I start in 1.8.1, and then I go to 1.7.10, and then I go to 1.6.4, and so on and so forth. I have set a certain number of goals for myself at each of those levels. So as you can imagine, if I build with something that is a block exclusive to 1.8, and then let's say I downgrade all the way to 1.5 over time, that will eventually disappear. Or items that I collect will disappear from the world, and I will have to rebuild things. And I am kind of doing it just to sort of remember what it was like to play back then. At some of the levels, I have some challenges that will specifically take advantage of mechanics that have been taken out of the game, or mechanics that have added to the game in those versions. And so at some point, well, the goal is to get all the way down to alpha. If the game crashes irrevocably before that because of some items and stuff that are in the world, then that's fine. Either one of those stopping points that I get to, what I will do is then reload the map in the latest version, either 1.8 or hopefully 1.9 by then, and just play another episode in the current version to kind of round out the series. And this is sort of my experimental run of that series. I think if I do it again, part of the challenge will be to actually restrict myself to only do things, or to make it all the way to alpha. So basically avoid using things that will disappear. So avoid getting new blocks, avoid crafting new recipes that will disappear from my inventory and try to play it in the purest alpha vanilla. A lot of people do, or a couple people have done series where they start in alpha or beta and then they upgrade over each episode and they show you what was added over time. I just thought I'd be a little different and do it backwards. And it's also sort of a proof of concept for another idea that I have in mind. So I just thought I would share that series with you. So that is going on this channel. That will be a once a week series. So the plan is that an episode will come out on a Sunday, and you have until the next Saturday, or I guess until the next Friday, to enter comments. And then I will record a new episode on each Saturday, and then air it on Sunday. So I'm only going to be recording that once a week. And I'm hoping that way I can actually make each episode more interactive with you. Because a lot of times when I play Minecraft, I'll play for like a couple, let's say 2 hours at a time. And then I will chop it up and put it out there. So I can interact with your comments, but your comments don't actually influence what happens in the series because it's all pre-recorded. So I'm looking at this as a chance to actually... Oh, I thought I put enough coal in there. I'm looking at this as a chance to kind of change that up a little bit. So I said it was an experiment. It's an experiment on multiple levels. And I hope you go and check out my downgrade challenge. I've also this year, man, I thought I was done talking, didn't you? I've been experimenting with a different editing style. My old editing style used to use a lot of fade to blacks in between scenes, and I used to keep in a lot of footage. For example, sorting my inventory, breaking blocks like I'm doing now, doing a bunch of mundane stuff. And I was afraid to cut things out, especially when playing a map, because I want you, the player, to see what it really feels like to play the map. And I want the map maker to see, you know, all of my thoughts. What am I thinking? Why am I reacting to your map the way that I am? And over time, I've realized I can relax that a little bit and cut out some of the stuff, but still leave in enough to kind of fulfill those purposes of entertaining the audience and making it interesting, and then letting the map maker see anytime I have like a really important thing to say, or anytime that I have a bug or an oops. Anytime that I do something wrong, that I interpret something wrong, I want to leave all that stuff in. But I feel like, and I always felt like the hard cuts are very jarring, but I gotta say, I don't know if any of you have noticed, but I really feel like the last couple videos that I've done, maybe the last dozen, with the new editing style, have been a lot more interesting and actually feel a lot more cinematic, I guess. I've been watching in various movies and TV shows what they use for cuts, and the ones that use gimmicky cuts really stand out as something that feels gimmicky now to me. I've grown much more fond of just basic cuts that I thought before would actually feel negative. They actually, I think, are feeling better. So for whatever that's worth, I promise this is the last time I will say that's it for now. I'll see you next time.